Welcome back to the channel Old Coins Value. Today's video where we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and their hidden secrets. And in this episode we will focus on one of the most talked about, mysterious, and extremely valuable coins in modern numismatic history, the 1983 1-cent USA coin, which despite having a face value of just 1 cent, has been discovered in some rare error variations that could make it worth as much as $20 million to collectors, investors, and passionate enthusiasts. A shocking leap in value that naturally raises questions about how and why such an everyday circulating penny could hold such unimaginable worth. And as we explore this story, you will learn how minting mistakes, unusual anomalies, and peculiar details in design or composition can transform an ordinary piece of currency into a life-changing treasure, because at its core, the story of the 1983 penny is not just about money, it is about history, craftsmanship, and the unpredictable nature of minting technology that sometimes allows unique flaws to slip into circulation, flaws which later turn into prized rarities. So let's take this journey together into the origins of this extraordinary coin, because to fully appreciate why certain 1983 pennies carry astronomical value, we must first remember that 1982 marked a major transition in the production of United States cents, as the mint moved from the traditional copper alloy composition weighing 3.11 grams to a cheaper copper-plated zinc planchet weighing only 2.5 grams, a change that was economically driven due to rising copper costs, and because of this shift, both 1982 and 1983 were transitional years filled with possibilities for unusual minting circumstances. Where leftover copper planchets might have been struck, experimental blanks may have been used, or dies from different compositions could have been mismatched, creating accidental rarities that were indistinguishable to the naked eye when they first entered circulation, yet decades later became headline-making coins worth millions. And among these rarities, the 1983 copper cent is considered the holy grail, since if a 1983 cent was accidentally struck on a leftover copper planchet instead of the intended zinc-coated blanks, it would weigh 3.11 grams instead of 2.5, instantly setting it apart as an impossible anomaly given that copper should have been fully phased out by 1983. And the sheer improbability of such an occurrence, combined with its link to a historic transition in American coinage, makes it one of the most valuable mint errors of all time, and collectors are willing to pay fortunes for such specimens not only because of rarity but also because each coin represents a tangible piece of history when the mint was under pressure to change metal composition and yet accidentally produced something that should never have existed. And beyond the copper versus zinc composition debate, there are also additional error types that make 1983 cents incredibly desirable, such as double die errors where the coin's design elements like the motto, the date, or Lincoln's profile appear doubled due to a misalignment in die creation, and these doubled dies can be dramatic enough to be seen without magnification, making them both exciting and highly collectible. And in particular, the 1983 double die reverse penny is one of the most famous, where the words E pluribus unum and United States of America appear doubled. And when authenticated by grading companies, these coins command extraordinary premiums, with the highest quality examples achieving tens of thousands of dollars at auction, which feeds into the narrative that not only composition but also die variety plays a massive role in turning a penny into a treasure. And then there are off-center strikes where the coin's design is not properly centered, broad strikes that lack full color containment, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing due to blank preparation mistakes, and even rare mint mark anomalies where the D for Denver or P for Philadelphia might appear repunched, missing, or oddly placed, all of which add layers of collectability because error collectors thrive on uniqueness and imperfection. And if one combines these errors with the historic context of 1983, the intrigue multiplies, since every small possibility of imperfection becomes magnified when attached to a coin's series undergoing dramatic compositional changes. And for those new to coin collecting, it may sound unbelievable that a coin worth a penny could command valuations in the millions. But this is not speculation, because numismatic history is filled with examples where coins with unique stories and errors fetch unimaginable prices at auctions, such as the 1943 copper penny worth hundreds of thousands, the 1955 double die Lincoln cent, or the 1974 aluminum cent, and the 1983 error cents follow this tradition by being simultaneously accessible because they look like everyday pennies yet rare because of their distinct mistakes, creating a perfect storm of collectability. And what makes this story more fascinating is that thousands of 1983 pennies were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, yet only a tiny fraction contain the anomalies that skyrocket value. Which means millions of people have handled these coins without knowing what they had, and even today some lucky individuals still stumble upon rare 1983 cents in old collections, inherited jars, or forgotten rolls from banks, discovering that a penny tucked away for decades can be life-changing, and the possibility of finding such a treasure keeps collectors excited and motivates beginners to start checking their change, because after all, the idea that wealth could be hiding in plain sight is irresistible. And so when we talk about the $20 million valuation, it is not just about one coin but about the unique combination of rarity, historical context, demand, and condition that creates a perfect marketplace storm, because a coin with such a dramatic story naturally attracts headlines, wealthy collectors, and bidding wars, and that is how a single cent can transcend its face value to become a multi-million-dollar artifact. But to achieve such astronomical figures, a coin must be in pristine condition, graded by reputable services like PCGS or NGC, and authenticated beyond doubt to prevent fraud, because fakes and altered coins are rampant in the world of high-value rarities, and serious buyers only trust certified examples. So if anyone out there suspects they may have a rare 1983 cent, the first step is to weigh it, since the difference between copper at 3.11 grams and zinc at 2.5 grams is immediately telling, and then examine it for doubling under magnification, off-center strikes, or unusual features in the mint mark, and if something suspicious arises, professional grading is the only way to establish true market value. And while only a handful of these coins exist, the excitement lies in the chance, however slim, that the next great discovery could still be sitting unnoticed in circulation or tucked away in someone's drawer, making the 1983 penny a legendary symbol of hidden fortune. And as we continue exploring these fascinating details, remember that coins are more than just metal discs used for commerce. They are miniature history books, products of their time, reflecting economic struggles, technological shifts, and human mistakes. And every once in a while one of those mistakes becomes so extraordinary that it transforms a coin from pocket change into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. And that is exactly what makes the 1983 penny worth talking about, studying, and dreaming about, because whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, the thrill of the hunt remains alive. Driven by stories like this one where a simple cent crosses the unimaginable threshold into fortune. And as we close this exploration, remember that the world of rare coins is vast, filled with surprises, and constantly evolving, and the story of the 1983 cent is just one shining example of how ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. So always pay attention to the small details, because you never know when a coin in your hand could be the next $1,000,000 rarity. And with that, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible saga of the 1983 1-cent USA coin and why certain rare era varieties are valued as high as $20 million, turning a humble penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that continues to fascinate the numismatic community and spark the imagination of treasure hunters everywhere. Today's exciting journey into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where even a simple 1-cent piece can transform into a life-changing treasure, and in this video we are going to explore the story behind the legendary 2000D 1-cent USA coin that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, treasure hunters, and numismatic enthusiasts around the world because of its staggering estimated value of $21 million, far surpassing its humble face value of just 1 cent, a leap so extraordinary that it might sound unbelievable at first, but once you understand the combination of minting errors, rare mistakes, unusual die varieties, double strikes, misaligned dies, planchet flaws, unusual mint mark placements, and the historical context behind it, you will see why this coin stands apart from millions of other Lincoln cents minted in the year 2000 at the Denver Mint, and why only a handful of these era coins are believed to exist, making them some of the most sought after pieces in modern numismatics. So let's dive deep and uncover the secrets behind this extraordinary penny, beginning with the basics of what makes coins valuable in the first place, because coin values are not determined merely by their face denomination but by a delicate interplay of rarity, demand, condition, historical importance, and above all, uniqueness that stems from either intentional design variations or unintentional minting mistakes, and in the case of the 2000D 1-cent coin, it is the latter, the errors and mistakes during the minting process, that transformed it from a regular pocket change item into a multi-million-dollar rarity, and collectors know very well that errors can occur in numerous ways during the minting process, such as double die obverse errors where the design elements on the obverse or front of the coin are duplicated due to a die being struck twice out of alignment, or die cracks which occur when the metal die develops fractures, leaving raised lines on the coin's surface, or off-center strikes where the planchet is not properly seated and results in a coin with a design shifted away from the center, or clipped planchets where part of the coin's metal blank is missing, giving the coin an incomplete circular shape. And then there are wrong planchet errors where a coin is accidentally struck on a blank meant for a different denomination, such as a cent being struck on a dime planchet or vice versa, which makes the coin incredibly rare. And when it comes to mint mark errors, these too can add immense value, as the mint mark indicates which facility produced the coin, and if it is mispunched, misplaced, doubled, or omitted, collectors take note, because such anomalies are seldom repeated in mass production, and the 2001 cent is known for such peculiarities, with examples showing doubled mint marks, repunched mint marks, or even mint marks that appear faintly misplaced, and when combined with other striking errors, the rarity becomes astronomical, and it is precisely this combination of circumstances that elevated this particular Lincoln cent to legendary status, and to appreciate why it could command a value of $21 million, one must also consider the psychology of collectors, because numismatics is not just about metal, it is about stories, passion, history, rarity, and above all, competition. As wealthy collectors with vast resources often compete to secure the rarest known examples, driving prices to incredible heights, and when only one or two examples of a particular variety exist, the bidding wars can push values into the millions. And with the 2000 penny in question, the coin does not just feature a single minor error but is believed to contain multiple overlapping mistakes, including double die obverse, unusual planchet defects, and a mispunched mint mark, creating a perfect storm of rarity. And beyond just the errors, the coin's condition also matters because coin grading plays a huge role in determining value, with higher graded coins, those free of scratches, wear, or environmental damage, commanding exponentially more than circulated ones, and if such a 2000 penny exists in mint state or proof-like condition, preserved since its minting without ever entering circulation, then its value skyrockets beyond imagination. Which explains the staggering $21 million figure that has been associated with it, and another important factor to consider is historical context, because the year 2000 marked the turn of a millennium, a symbolic and culturally significant year where people were looking for collectibles that tied to history, and so a coin minted in that year with extraordinary anomalies carries more emotional weight than a similar coin from an ordinary year, and collectors and investors who crave unique symbols of an era are willing to pay unmatched sums for such artifacts. And when you combine all these layers, rare minting errors, unusual mint mark issues, planchet mistakes, die cracks, doubled dies, cultural significance of the year 2000, collector demand, extremely limited population of surviving examples, and pristine condition, you arrive at a scenario where an ordinary coin of face value 1 cent could realistically be valued in the tens of millions. And this is not without precedent because history is filled with stories of rare coins fetching astronomical sums, such as the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle which sold for over $18 million, or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar believed to be the first dollar struck by the United States Mint, which sold for over $10 million, proving that the world of coin collecting is one where rarity and desire can elevate ordinary metal discs into treasures more valuable than gold, and so the 2000 penny fits into this narrative as a modern marvel, an anomaly turned icon, a mistake turned masterpiece, and beyond just the financial aspect, it ignites the imagination of collectors who dream of finding such a coin in circulation or tucked away in a jar of old pennies, because that possibility fuels the treasure hunting spirit that drives people to inspect their change and study coins with magnifying glasses, hoping that one day they might stumble upon a multi-million-dollar rarity. And in that sense, the 2000 penny valued at $21 million is more than just a coin. It is a story of how imperfection can create perfection in the eyes of collectors, how errors can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, and how something as small and overlooked as a penny can command global fascination, and this serves as a reminder to never underestimate the power of details, because in the world of coins, a tiny mint mark out of place, a doubling of a number, a misaligned strike, or a clipped planchet can be the difference between pocket change and a once-in-a-lifetime fortune. And so as we continue this exploration, Think about the countless pennies that pass through hands every day. Most of them spent without a thought, but hidden among them could be treasures waiting to be discovered, and while the odds are incredibly slim, stories like the 2000 penny prove that it is not impossible, and collectors know that persistence, knowledge, and sharp eyes can yield astonishing rewards. And this is what makes numismatics such an endlessly fascinating pursuit, combining history, art, economics, and the thrill of treasure hunting into one passion. And in the case of the 2001 cent, all these elements align to make it a coin whose story will continue to inspire awe and wonder for generations. And whether you are a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey, the tale of this $21 million penny is proof that the world of coins is full of surprises. So always stay curious, always keep looking, and always remember that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value.